Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to another episode of the Four Horsemen, Old School Magic Players Group. In today's video, we're going to be covering tournament number 20, top 8 quarterfinals matches. Tournament number 20 is running now, April 4th through May 11th. We are in the last stretch. Check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com. We're the only old school magic group that focuses exclusively on Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark, the original 1993-94 Magic the Gathering expansions. In this tournament, we're giving away some fantastic playmat prizes and top 8 prizes. You can join us at facebook.com/group/4horsemenmtg. For the brackets and today's match, we're going to be covering Chris Holzenbach from our Aussie crew, facing down against old school Alex Veal. Alex is a new member to Four Horsemen, but been doing quite well in our tournaments and made it all the way into the quarterfinals. And Chris, at this point, is a grizzled veteran in Four Horsemen and been battling out many top 16 and top 8 matches, working his way to the semifinals, hopefully in this match today. Let's take a quick look at the decks. The guys are joining in the whereby in just a moment, so we'll do a really quick deck tech review. Chris is on Golgari Sacrifice, playing black and green primarily, and Alex, old school Alex, is on a mono green Stompy deck. Looking at Alex's decks real quickly, this is similar to John DeProse's green Stompy deck from tournament number 17, I think. No, 18. Tournament number 18, where he ran a mono green deck. It was just 36 creatures and 24 lands. It was pretty wild. This is a interesting take with slight improvements, running Suchis and a few other things like the Scavenger Folk, the Gazman Ogre, Elves of Deep Shadow, Killer Bees, Argothian Pixies, of course, Urnham Djinns, Waluli Wolf, and a single one-off Tano Swan, Emerald Dragonfly, the Restricted Sylvan Library, a bunch of Pendlehavens. Really interesting cards in his sideboard, including Sword of the Ages, the Whirling Dervish, protection from black, a few Desert Twisters, some Crumbles, an extra Scavenger Folk for Avoid Fates, a couple Deserts, Maze of Ith, Diamond Valley, and Strip Mine. So this is a very aggressive deck that has a lot of potential. Chris's Golgari Sacrifice deck running a lot of the same creatures, but splashing in black. The same, green brood of elves, scavenger folk, even some Gazman Ogres, and Urnham Djinns, but also splashing in the growing in popularity Brassman, the ever-powerful Kumbaj Witches, Oubliettes, Cobble Ghouls, Juzum Djinns, and Falling Angels, along with Oubliettes, Diamond Valley, Maze of Ith, Factory, Strips, couple of Cities of Brass, and green-black mana. In the sideboard, a card that I really liked, we don't see a ton of, is Inquisition, Ornithopters, Crumbles, Ashes to Ashes, love that card, a couple Deserts. So really interesting brews from both of these guys, and they are in the whereby now. Let's cut over, and let's join the match.
It's very challenging to deal with. So yeah, good luck. I'm sure it'll be lots of fun.
Yeah, and format and green is going to be interesting to say the least.
Hey guys.
Hey Chad.
Hey Chad.
Hey. All right, I just did the intro. Did a very quick deck tech review for both of your decks. I think it's going to be a really interesting match today.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, gentlemen. And we're streaming live.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
All right. You shuffle a bit just for the show.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, here we go.
All right, I'll mute these guys and we will jump into the commentary. So we've got Alex on the right, Chris on the left, and Alex is sporting his old school Quebec 93-94 moat mat, which is really cool. And we got Chris on the left here. As I mentioned, Chris is from our growing Australia crew. We've got a pretty large group of Australia players where Four Horsemen has really gained a ton of popularity, and these guys have really been supportive of the format. Chris Holzenbach, Lucas Santos in particular have both really helped out and done a lot. Chris has posted some really cool kind of what he called janky Four Horsemen combos on the Facebook group, showing off some of the really interesting and kind of niche combos that might be considered janky in other formats, but in Four Horsemen, they're kind of fun, and actually a lot of them are really functional. So it looks like Chris is taking a mulligan here. These guys, they've both played quite a bit of Four Horsemen, and we had 36 players in Tournament 20, and we had 6 groups of 6 players each. So everybody played 5 matches in the first group rounds, and then we cut to top 16. So there was a match at top 16, and now we're in the top 8 matches, getting ready to proceed to semifinals. So these guys have battled their decks against many different other deck archetypes, and it's coming down to the top 16. All right, Chris is shuffling up here. He took a mulligan, so he's going to be putting 1 card on the bottom. Always wise to pitch a bad hand and take 1 less card. It's a interesting skill knowing exactly when to mulligan, and it's really important in these tournament matches. Okay, so Chris is on the play. Going second. Actually, Alex is going first. Chris is on the play second, getting Pendlehavens for both of them, but Chris getting his early Elves of Deep Shadow. Great first turn. These guys can provide extra mana acceleration as well as attack as a 2/3 being pumped by the Pendlehaven. Alex will need some defense here pretty quickly to be able to defend. Tapping 2. Is it a Wailuli Wolf coming down or maybe an Emerald Dragonfly? Both are in Alex's deck. Flyers can be really good in these scenarios. It was the third option, the Everpower Argothian Pixies. These guys are fantastic in Four Horsemen. Lots of artifact creatures. Mishra's Factory is restricted, but even as a 1-of, it's still a powerful card. And the Pixies have proven themselves relevant and powerful in Four Horsemen. Okay, so Chris is deciding, does he want to attack and get in for damage, or does he want to play defensively? He's playing a second elf, so he is really ramping up on the mana quickly. And passing turn. Now that's interesting. I'm surprised he wasn't able to crank out maybe a Kumbaj Witches or something like that. It would have been really timely if he had one. Doesn't look like he has one in hand. So Alex attacks straight in with the Pixies. He would lose those to any block, but the Pendlehaven is tapped. So Chris is just going to take the damage on the chin. Alex getting to 3 mana now. He's got Killer Bees. He's got the Slug, the Spitting Slug, 2/4. He's got the Wailuli Wolves, and he's got the Dragonflies, and there's a Dragonfly there. 1/1 flyer, pay 2 green, and it can be first strike. Can be quite good with the Pendlehaven. Okay, Alex gets his factory, and Here he is, coming in for 5 mana. This must be the angel coming down. And there she is. The Fallen Angel, one of our favorite cards and favorite artworks from Legends. This card can hit for a lot of damage. You can sacrifice a creature and give that Fallen Angel a +2/+1. You can do it as an instant. So when Chris no longer needs those elves, he just sacrifices them and pumps up the angel. He did have to take 2 damage for that. The elves tapping for black mana do a damage each. But he's able to get out a 3rd turn Falling Angel, 3/3 flyer. Not too shabby. It's got the ability to block either the Dragonfly or the Pixies. Interesting. Okay, so now Alex plays his Wailuli Wolf. Wailuli Wolf, fantastic Arabian Nights card. Very cool artwork. You tap these guys and give any creature +1/+1. This is turning out to be an interesting back and forth here. That Wailuli Wolf may really be a game changer for Alex, being able to pump his creature, his Dragonfly with the Pendelhaven, and then also pump it again with the Wailuli Wolf. He could make that Dragonfly a 3/4 flyer, which would force Chris to sacrifice a creature to pump it up. And if he pays 2 green in addition to that, he can make it first strike. Chris weighing his options here. It looks like Chris very carefully thinking this through. He's got to make sure that he can get through for the full damage. Alex showing his cards in hand there at 4. And here comes Chris attacking in with the Fallen Angel. So Chris just elects to come straight in for 3 damage right away. No blocks by Alex. Alex is not prepared to sacrifice any creatures at this point. He knows he can pump that Emerald Dragonfly up later in the game. Okay, Oubliette coming down. Oublietting the Wailuli Wolf. So that basically removes the Wailuli Wolf from the game. That is a good choice on the part of Chris, taking that Wailuli Wolf out of action. Being able to pump instantly +1/+1 to any creature can be really strong during combat. He did have to take a damage for that because he had to tap the elf for black, bringing him down to 15. So Alex needs some more defense here. He's going to need something in the air. The Killer Bees or another Dragonfly could be helpful. He doesn't have a ton of flyers in his deck. He's got the Dragonflies and the Killer Bees, so flying is not overtly abundant in his brew. And getting that Fallen Angel out on turn 3, powered out by the elves, really gives Chris Holzenbeck quite a strong advantage this early in the game. Alex debating what to do here. He elects to attack with the Dragonfly and pumping it. So 2 damage in the air coming in, bringing Chris from 15 to 13. And he plays a second Wailuli Wolf. He couldn't attack with the Pixies here because the other Elves of Deep Shadow could be pumped on Chris's side by that Pendelhaven, making them a 2/3. So until that Pendelhaven is tapped again, that Argothian Pixie is basically just keeping the Elves and the Mistress Factory at bay. Chris thinking about attacking here. Does he want to take more damage? He's at 13. He knows anytime he needs more than 1 black, he's got to take damage from those elves. He may be thinking it's time to go into defense mode, but not quite yet. Coming in for 3 in the air with the Angel, bringing Alex from 17 to 14. Oof. Wow, look at this. Wow, 2 more damage from the elves for black mana, putting in the 5/5 ever powerful Jusum Djinn. Now that brings Chris down to 11, and he goes ahead and he's going all in, tapping his Pendlehaven since he's got the Jusum to defend now, and playing out his Scavenger Folk. Oh, now this is huge turn for Alex here. Maze of Ith coming down. This is restricted in Four Horsemen. That card is powerful. Now he'll either have to Maze of Ith the Fallen Angel or the Jusum Djinn. He can block the Jusum on the ground with, maybe the Pixies, and he can Maze of Ith the Fallen Angel in the air. Now Chris has to take a damage during his upkeep here from the Jusum Djinn. Yep, there he goes, bringing him down to 10. This Maze of Ith really changes the board and the dynamics right here. Will it be enough to allow Alex to survive this very rapid, aggressive army, black and green army that's building up on Chris's side? Chris thinking here, he can't really leverage the Fallen Angel to the maximum benefit when the Maze of Ith is down. He's just going to play another Scavenger Folk, and that way he has more creatures to sacrifice if the angel is not mazed. Now I'm quite surprised to see this. Alex is just going to block in the air with the Dragonfly. I guess mazing the Jusum and blocking the Dragonfly. That gives the Dragonfly, with the Pendlehaven on him, makes him a 2/3. And then he's able to make him a 3/4 with the +1/+1 from the Wailulu Wolf. So that's pretty good. It's forcing Chris to sacrifice the Scavenge Folk, which he didn't really need anyway. Not a big deal. But that Dragonfly is taken down. And here the Cobble Ghoul comes into play, and there's been 2 creatures that have gone to the graveyard this turn: the Scavenger Folk and the Emerald Dragonfly. So Cobble Ghoul's going to get some counters. He's going to get big quick. All right, Alex is definitely going to need some help here. He gets to do Sylvan Library on his draw step. Alex is in a real challenging position here. The 3/3 flying Fallen Angel that can be pumped with all the sacrificed creatures, making the Cobble Ghoul even bigger, is a big problem. Now, Urnum Djinn is a fantastic answer to Jusum Djinn, particularly when you have Wailulu Wolf in play. The Wailulu Wolf can make the Urnum Djinn +1/+1, so it makes him a 5, going from a 4/5 to a 5/6. So he can block the Jusum and survive with the Wailulu Wolf in play. Brassman coming down for Chris. That Maze of Ith is a real problem for Chris, particularly now because the Maze of Ith can be used for the Fallen Angel, and the Urnum Djinn can block the Jusum and be pumped by the Wolf. Okay, so Chris is attacking with the Jusum and the Fallen Angel and the Cobble Ghoul. Now this is interesting. Cobble Ghoul. He comes in as a 1/1. He's gotten 2 counters on him, so he's probably a 3/3 right now. Okay, so the Fallen Angel's getting mazed. Yeah, for Kabul at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. For each creature that was put into the graveyard this turn. Okay, so he's letting the Juzum hit in, blocking the Kabul and mazing the Angel. I think that's a pretty smart and logical move on Alex's part. They're now tied up 9-9. Sylvan Library here for Alex. Can he dig into something to help him out here? The Killer Bees would probably be the most he could hope for. Wow, this is interesting. Diamond Valley coming down. So now Alex may be able to buy himself a few turns as creatures die, but he really can only sacrifice the Argothian Pixies at this point. He can't really attack. Urnum's giving the Fallen Angel there, the Forest Walk. You see the counter on the Fallen Angel. Spitting Slug coming in. Now that's interesting. That's going to help slow down any large land attack that Chris might mount here. And that Maze of Ith is really causing him a problem. He's losing 1 life per turn to the Maze of Ith because of Juzum Djinn. The Maze of Ith has really, really saved Alex here. It's been a fantastic defense for him. You see Chris pensively maneuvering his thumb and fingers. He's trying to think of a way around the maze. He needs a strip mine, or he needs an all-out attack. But the 2/4 Spitting Slug for 3 green is such a great defensive card. It can block all these smaller creatures. He could sack them. Chris could to the Fallen Angel, but then the Fallen Angel just gets Maze of Ith. It's a real tricky predicament that Maze of Ith has put Chris in here. These are the risks of cards like Serendib Efreet and Juzum Djinn and Four Horsemen. You've got to be cognizant of things like Maze of Ith, Spirit Link, even Imprison, Demonic Torment. There's a Gaseous Form. There's a whole bunch of enchant creature cards that render your creatures pretty useless. And if they've got the upkeep, damage can be very, very, very tough. Okay, so Alex getting basically a free pass here. Chris cannot attack. And Alex is playing another Emerald Dragonfly coming in. So that's going to be another blocker for him versus the Angel if Chris ever does get a strip mine or something to take it out. Fissure and Blight are 2 other land destruction cards for Four Horsemen. I don't recall if Chris is playing Blights in his deck. I don't remember seeing them. But they can be quite useful. Even just 1 or 2 Blights can be really useful to take out cards like Diamond Valley, Maze of Ith, Workshop, even things like Island of Whack Whack, City of Shadows, Safe Haven. It's a lot of functional utility cards in Four Horsemen that add a lot of spice and intricacies to combat. All right. Chris taking the damage from the Juzum, passing turn again. Alex, meanwhile, continues to build out his green Stompy army. Second Argothian Pixie coming down. Unfortunately, Alex is really not able to attack either. It's a stalemate right now because even though the Angel Forest walks, she can't get through because of Maze of Ith. Chris needs to come into his Sylvan Library so he can start digging for strip mine or something to get rid of this maze. He's going to need Dark Heart of the Wood or something like that eventually. to help him gain life and survive the damage that his own Juzumjin is causing. Okay, so Alex, Sylvan Library's here. He's looking. Okay, puts 2 back, takes 1 card, and he plays an Elf of Deep Shadow. Not really helpful for Alex right here. You know, in these decks, I always like to run a Jaloom Tome, particularly if you've got one of Sylvan Library. If you can get Jaloom and Sylvan working together, they can be really, really strong. If you splash blue and add in a Sinbad, then you've got basically triple draw action. You draw with your Sylvan, draw what you want, leave a land on top, tap Sinbad, draw that land, and then you can draw with Jaloom Tome and pitch the land you just drew and draw another card. So you effectively draw 3 cards in 1 turn. It's pretty powerful. Now this is interesting. Here comes Fallen Angel in number 2. This is going to be a challenge for Alex. If both of these Fallen Angels attack, and he can't take one down in the air, it's going to be a challenge. At least he can pump that Emerald Dragonfly to being a +1/+2 from the Pendle, making it a 2/3, and then +1/+1 from the Wolf, making it a 3/4. Another Wolf, Wailuli Wolf, would be really good here to help bolster Alex's defense. Let's see what he is able to find with the Sylvan. Okay, another pass turn by Chris, just elects not to attack, and now Suchi's coming down. Now Suchi's interesting. It's a 4/4 artifact creature, but when it goes to the graveyard, you get 4 mana instantly. So you gotta have somewhere to pump that mana, or it can mana burn you. Right now, Alex has nothing to pump that mana into, really. I guess he could pump it into the Spitting Slug's ability if he had 4 forests to activate into it. He does tap his elf to pay for that Suchi, taking a damage, bringing him down to 8. Meanwhile, Chris is still taking damage from his Juzumjin. Now here, Alex elects to sacrifice the Suchi in response to the Scavenger folk trying to blow it up. He'll gain 4 life, but then he'll take 4 mana burn. So it's a net 0 loss, 0 gain due to the Diamond Valley, giving you life equal to the card's defense. Okay, what is Chris gonna do here? He's in a very difficult position. He needs to gain life himself. He needs a Sylvan Library to dig into an answer, or he needs that one of Dark Heart of the Wood, which we've had to restrict in Four Horsemen because it is so strong on the life gain side of things. Alex has really recovered well from a very difficult opening to this match. Chris really put Alex on the back foot, but getting the Dragonfly, the Pendlehaven, the Wailuli Wolves, and getting some ground defense with Urnamjin, as well as the Spitting Slug, has really helped Alex stabilize. Looks like Alex looking up something here. Let's peep in and see what the guys are talking about.
I think you probably need to declare blockers if you're going to block, and then I'll declare what I'm going to do with sacrificing, and then you can decide which one you want to maze.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess you're right.
Hey guys, was there a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, how is it gonna work with the Maze of It and the Fallen Angel and the sacrifice creature thing? Do I have to wait? Like, does he have to wait for me to activate the Maze of It, or can I wait until he decides to sacrifice everything, or can he do something in response?
Well, you can tap the Maze of Ith and activate it at any time in response to any other action. And the updated wording on Maze of Ith is untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn.
Okay.
The rulings are on Maze of Ith are Maze of Ith can target an untapped attacking creature. It will still prevent the damage. The creature is not removed from combat. That was an old rule that has been changed. It just has its combat damage prevented. So it
can target an untapped attacking creature? Is that what you said, chat?
Yes, there's a ruling on the Gatherer. Maze of Ith can target an untapped attacking creature. For example, a creature that has vigilance.
Oh, okay. They're just saying, in addition to targeting tapped creatures,
Yes.
it can also target an untapped
You
creature.
can target a Sarah and Joe with it.
Right.
That's fine. That's not relevant for us.
So the creature is not removed from combat. It has its damage prevented. It's still an attacking creature until the end of the combat phase is completed. In the last ruling is you can activate Maze of Ith's ability targeting an attacking creature that you control during the combat step or at the end. So you can use it on your own creature defensively as well. So basically, Alex, if you want to prevent the combat damage, you have to do it before the damage step.
All right.
Because if the damage step occurs, all the damage is done simultaneously as soon as you go to damage step. So you would basically, after blockers are declared and before you go to damage step is when you would need to use the Maze of Ith to prevent damage.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
No problem.
Okay, Alex. So I think I've declared my attackers.
Yep.
All right. I am by no means a rules guru aficionado, but Maze of Ith has been discussed quite a bit in Four Horsemen, and this is an interesting situation. Alex is going to need to declare his blockers first, and then decide what to maze. He's going to have to maze one of the angels, or block the maze one and block the other. Otherwise, he could take a substantial amount of damage in the air. So yes, he's doing the same thing. He's going to block one of the angels, and Chris is going to pump him up. The other angel is going to get through, and he's going to have to Maze of Ith that one.
Go ahead and sacrifice a brass man to this one as well, and then leave it to you if you want to decide to maze him.
Just put my team the right way. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna maze him.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So the brass man is sacrificed, he's mazed. The brass man is sacrificed, the emerald dragonfly dies. And then I think that's all I have to do for my turn. I have nothing for second main, so I'll pass with one card in hand, okay?
Yeah, so Chris is in a very difficult position here. He's really trying to put pressure on Alex, but Alex getting that extra Emerald Dragonfly flyer has bought him a few extra turns, along with the defense of the Maze of Ith and also the Diamond Valley gaining him extra life as some of these creatures start to die. Now, I don't know if he remembered to. I think his Diamond Valley was tapped because he used it on the Suchi, so he'll need to remember to try and leave the Diamond Valley untapped during combat, so he can basically, if a creature's not going to kill the other creature due to combat damage, he can sacrifice it to the Diamond Valley and gain life. Okay, so Alex on the turn here, he is attacking with Urnum Djinn, Spitting Slug, both Pixies, and the Elf. Now this is interesting because he's really trying to put the pressure on Chris. Chris taking 1 damage during his upkeep. Chris has 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. Let's see what Chris does here.
One of the elves with the Pendlehaven. For the Urnum?
Yep.
For the Urnum, I will block him on the Elves of Deep Shadow. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, that's right. For the Pixie, I will block one of the Pixies on the Elves of Deep Shadow. For the other Pixie, I'll block the Pixie on the Juzum. For the let's see, for the Elf, I'll block the Elf on the Fallen Angel. And for the Spitting Slug, I'll block this slug on the Mishra Spectre.
So you can block everything. 1, 2.
Yeah, so it looks like Alex has really made a bit of a miscalculation here in his attacks. With the factory, both elves, the untapped angel and the untapped Juzum, Chris has 5 blockers. And I understand why Alex is doing this. He doesn't have another flyer. So he knows that with both of those flyers on the board, it's game over for him next turn anyway. But he really didn't have much of a choice. If he didn't draw into another flyer, he needed a Killer Bees or another Emerald Dragonfly and wasn't able to find it. So it's an all-out attack here. The thing is he is just a little bit shy of getting some damage through because all 5 creatures can be blocked, and then next turn Chris will be swinging back with everyone.
So the elf goes to the graveyard too?
For the trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
This one goes to the graveyard.
Yep.
And this one too, right?
Yeah, he's gonna go on the Juzum, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confused at this point. This elf was blocking the Urnum, so this one dies.
Yeah.
This was blocking the Spitting Slug, so this one dies. Does that feel right?
Yeah, that feels right.
Okay. Okay.
Second name?
Oh, sorry.
Order.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
Okay. Untap. Upkeep. Take 1 damage off the Juzam. Draw. Play an Elves of Deep Shadow.
Yep.
Let's see. What can we do here?
Well, Chris is thinking about what to do on his last turn here. He's got 2 fallen angels, so I mean I think it's just game over here, unless Alex has some kind of crazy tactics. The only thing he could do really is he can sacrifice either the spitting slug or the Urnum, and he can gain 4 life. So will that be enough? This Diamond Valley may be enough for Alex to survive the attack. If he gains 4 life, it'll take him to 12, and then he'll lose 6, or he'll lose 3, potentially 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he can't. So Chris cannot quite get Alex down to 0.
Forest walking one, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And take 3.
Take 3. And I'll pass.
And tap. Draw. Doing a 2 with those 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a really interesting scenario for Chris here. You know, he's got a real difficult situation with this Diamond Valley. Alex, I think, didn't realize that Chris could block all 5 of those attackers, but maybe he did, and maybe he did the math and realized, hey, you know, I can hit in and take out a creature or 2, and yeah, I lose some creatures, but I've got my Diamond Valley and can survive the attack. Chris needs a way to gain life. He hasn't come into his Dark Heart of the Wood or any other life gain. Don't know if he's running Diamond Valley, but in a lot of our earlier commentary videos that John Eckleberry and I did, we often noticed that if one player had Diamond Valley and another player did not, whoever had Diamond Valley won. You know, very similar to Library of Alexandria. Extremely powerful card that just swings games dramatically. Okay, so Chris is going to block
The spitting slug on the fallen angel. I will sacrifice the Elves of Deep Shadow that's blocking the Arnhem.
Yep.
With the fallen angel.
So he's now at 5/4, right?
He's at 5/4.
Okay. So you take no damage.
The gas band is gonna die because of the Jusum, okay?
Yeah, and the splitting slot also.
Yep, that's right.
And I have to pay one forest and one colorless. Otherwise, you're.
Well, if he's gonna die, yeah. If he's gonna die, then it doesn't probably matter all that much, right?
Yeah.
So.
You're right. Okay. So I'm going to sacrifice him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In 5.
5. Okay.
Yep.
I'll get you up to 10. And the gas band dies.
Very, very delicate and intricate combat going on here. The Maze of Ith untapping the Fallen Angel has been very useful, even though it's hurt Chris on the Jusum Jin side of things. It leaves that angel untapped, and Chris is able to sack creatures to it, forcing Alex to lose creatures on his own. The Jusum blocked the Gasman there, and the Spitting Slug got blocked by one of the angels, and the Elves of Deep Shadow blocked the Urnum and got sacrificed. Now, with that, Chris is down to 2. He takes 1 from the Jusum in his upkeep, and he's now flying in the air with both attackers. But Alex is still at 10 life and can gain. He did gain, I think, 2 life off of that, losing that Gasman Ogre. And I don't know if I would have taken that Gasman Ogre loss. I think I might want to wait and take a loss on an Urnum or another creature. Although Chris would probably play Oubliette or something before the combat phase if he had it. So maybe he's out of options and it's all in for Chris. Alex can only Maze of Ith one creature, probably the forest walking one, and then he would get through for 3 in the air, bringing Alex down to 7, and Alex just he doesn't have enough air defense to cover both of these angels. So I still think Chris is in a very, very precarious position here. I think this game is Alex's mainly because of the Diamond Valley and the Maze of Ith. Going to show you how powerful those cards are when it's green Stompy Weenies with an Urnum and a Suchi versus Jusums and Fallen Angels. The life gaining and the repelling of the attacks by the Maze of Ith have been absolutely brutal for Chris here. Let's listen in.
I can untap 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can pump him. Set. Then you have a blocker. Alright, so I'm gonna block the Jusum
Okay.
and untap the Forest Walking Fallen Angel.
Okay. Let's think here. Do that. So the Sushi's gonna die.
So I'm taking 7.
Yeah, take 7. I think that's right. Go ahead. I got you down at 3.
Yep.
Oof.
So this is exactly what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Getting that 2 life off the Gasman Ogre was not really worth it when you can gain 4 off of losing the Suchi here. He would be 2 life. He'd be 2 life higher, and he'd be at 5. but now he is on the play. He lost his Suchi down to 2 creatures. Chris is going to be going down to 1 life next turn. Alex needs a Killer Bees or a Emerald Dragonfly. Will he get either of them? No, he gets Argothian Pixies. Chris had meanwhile played an Urnum Djinn on his turn, which is extremely good right now. It's strong enough to block all of Alex's attackers. You see how much back and forth there has been here. There's been moments where Alex looked like he had this game locked up, but Chris has very eloquently navigated his way through Alex's offense and defense, and Alex can only pass turn here.
Draw for turn. Tap for 5. I'll play another Fallen Angel.
Yep.
Wow. Another Fallen Angel for Chris.
Go to combat. What? Let's see if we can get through. Go to combat with everything.
Okay, so I'm gonna block the Jusum with the
Pixies.
Pixies.
Yep.
You're earning with mine.
Yep.
And I'm going to wait if you do any sacrifice thing before doing any untapping.
Okay. I don't need to do any sacrificing because I've got lethal right here, so I don't need to make any modifications to anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna untap. I'm gonna untap the forest walking one.
Okay.
I'm going to pump my own Jusum.
It is your own Jusum, isn't it?
My own brand, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So yours dies, and I'm going to sacrifice.
I'll go ahead and sacrifice him to the Fallen Angel since I can't kill your creature anyway.
Okay. So you're doing.
That'll be 5.
Okay, so I'm going to sacrifice the Urna.
Yep, that's fine. My creature's already dead anyway, so
Yep.
You're gonna gain
5. That's 6.
It has the +1/+1. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll put you up at 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this one is unblocked. Is that correct?
It's correct.
So he's already got 5. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, you got me.
Okay.
Wow, what a game, guys. That was like so much back and forth. It looked like Alex was in control and going to win, and then it looked like Chris was in control, and then it was back to like the pendulum kept swinging with every turn and every attack. It was really fun to watch that match.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I made any like math or.
I'm sure we made tons of mistakes. I'm sure.
Well,
Alex, that was very ridiculous.
Hindsight's always 20/20. You'll see some of the plays in the video. I try not to be too harsh because I make play errors when I'm in games all the time. It's really hard to see the perfect plays when you're in the match, and it's much easier when you're outside of the match.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's a lot of between your two decks, the sacrificing to the angels, the Wailuli Wolf pumping, the Maze of Ith and the Diamond Valley, there was so much complexity and so many intricate, actions and reactions. These are some pretty complex combat scenarios.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was getting lost here between all the things I had to count, and it was getting very, very complicated.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing how much work the Diamond Valley and the Maze of Ith really did. That Maze of Ith changed the game completely.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it was a top deck. I didn't have it in my head.
Yeah, John Eckleberry and I have often commented in some of the videos that, if somebody has Maze of Ith or Diamond Valley and somebody doesn't, then whoever has that wins, pretty much, most of the time.
Except me, I guess.
Well, I mean, Chris getting 3 Fallen Angels, I mean, the turn 3 Fallen Angel from Chris was pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
The 2 elves and cranking that angel out on turn 3 was really hard for you to deal with. But, I mean, hats off to you, Alex, and you, Chris, both. Both of you guys, I think, did a really fantastic job. Good luck in match number 2.
Thank you, man.
Here we go.
All right, while the guys are shuffling up there, let's just take a quick peek at their sideboards, and let's see what we think they're going to be sideboarding. For Alex, I mean, protection from black is huge. He has these Whirling Dervish, and he's got a huge advantage in his sideboard, putting the 4 Whirling Dervish in. Right away, I think I would look at the Suchis as an option to pull those out and put those Dervishes in. Or possibly even maybe even the Scavenger Folk. We didn't see a ton of artifacts from Chris, and he may also benefit from either the Avoid Fates or the Desert Twisters. Avoid Fate's a great answer to Oubliette. So, the deck for Chris on the Golgari Sacrifice, what is he going to put in? The Inquisitions are okay, not great. The Ashes to Ashes are pretty strong. I think I would sideboard out the maybe the 2 Scavenger Folk and put in the 2 Ashes to Ashes. I don't really think he needs too much else. He needs a few more creatures, so perhaps pulling out. There's just not much else. Maybe pulling out that 3rd Cobble Ghoul so he can get another creature down could be helpful. These guys have very similar decks, and we don't have a ton of time to get into the details on the sideboarding. And I'm missing my co-commentators today, but let's get back to the whereby action. Okay, so the guys are shuffled up, they've sideboarded, and we're on to game number 2. Both Chris and Alex had a really, really interesting battle for game 1. These Whirling Dervish could really make the difference and turn the tide for Alex in game 2. Protection from black, if he can manage to navigate around Chris's green creatures, those Dervish could really do some damage, particularly if he gets them early and can keep them growing. Alex has a choice here whether he wants to take the play or take the draw. I would assume he's taking the play. Chris is doing a mulligan, and it looks like Alex is doing a mulligan as well. That gives us a little more time to look back over at these decks. If you were Alex, would you sideboard in these Dervish, even though you know that there's Urnum Djinns and there's the Brassmen, there's the Gasman Ogres. These are all potential blockers that could take out an early Dervish, but not if the Dervish is Pendlehaven. The Pendlehaven's very, very, very critical in Alex's deck. I still think the Dervish are probably worth it, and I think that they could be better than the Suchis because they come out sooner. But they cannot be targeted by Kumbaj Witches or Oubliette. So I think they're worth it, although a turn 1 Brassman would be really tough for Alex. You know, it might be worth it for Alex to pop in some of these crumbles. If he's going to put the Dervish in, he may need the crumbles as well. So maybe pulling out a Gazban Ogre or 2 and putting in a couple crumbles and then swapping out the 4 Suchis for the 4 Dervish could be an answer for him. All right, the guys are getting back to the game, so let's get back over to the match. One of my favorite songs from the Neverwinter Nights soundtrack. Neverwinter Nights, one of the great role-playing games from back in the day. This is the theme song to the city, Waterdeep, City of Splendors. Okay, so Alex is off to a very strong start here. Alex has the same turn that Chris had in game number 1 of this match. Turn 1, Pendelhaven, Elves of Deep Shadow. That is a fantastic turn 1. Chris ends up with a City of Brass and an Elf, and that is not a great turn 1. Chris is going to be taking multiple damage off of his City and Elf. You do not want to see a City in your hand turn 1, and that means Chris likely has no other mana. He did not have a forest, so he's sitting on probably 2 elves and a City of Brass as his mana base, and that is not looking good for Chris. Elves of Deep Shadow coming in on the attack for Alex, hitting in for 1 damage. And will we see the Whirling Dervish here? That's what we want to see on Alex's part. Hopefully he sideboarded them in. Yes, there it is. Fantastic. Great for Alex, not great for Chris. Even if Chris gets a Kumbaj Witches, he can't do much against the Dervish there, and it'll be growing every turn. He needs a Brassman here. He did get a Swamp. That's significant. He'll need to power into an Urnum on turn 3, if possible, if he can get another mana here. He may have kept the City of Brass Swamp with the Elves, because he may have had Urnum in hand. A 3rd turn Urnum could be very strong. Attacking with the Elves here is the right move. He really needs to try and get as much damage in as possible. He's not going to be blocking and losing that Elf, so might as well attack. All right, and Chris takes another point of damage off the City of Brass to play Scavenger Folk. That may help him later if the Suchis come down, if Alex didn't sideboard them out. He may have also sideboarded out the Scavenger Folk straight up. Just the 4 Scavenger Folk come out, the 4 Dervish come in, but I don't know. Those Brassman are pretty functional in Chris's deck, so I like pulling out the Suchis because they have the mana burn risk. But here comes Alex, barreling in with the Dervish and the Elves. And the Dervish only grow if they deal damage to a player, so they're blocked by the Elves. I don't know if that's the right move, because Chris needs a turn 4 Urnum. Maybe he has another land and didn't need those Elves, but also if he has a land here, he could have a turn 3 Fallen Angel again if he keeps those Elves. I'm sorry, he sacrificed the Scavenger Folk, not the Elves. Alright, so hopefully... Strip Mine for his land for turn, stripping that Pendelhaven. That is pretty strong. Alex barreling in again. Chris missed his... Well, he didn't miss his land drop. He made his land drop with that Strip Mine, getting rid of the Pendelhaven. It's really keeping him back from getting Urnum in play. He cannot afford to block And 4 points of damage come in, bringing Chris very quickly down to 12. No. Oh, yes. Emerald Dragonfly coming down. Wow. You're seeing the power of Alex's Weenie Stompy deck. The Dragonfly, 1 green and 1 colorless, 1/1 flying, play 2 green. You know, common card from Legends. Never see it in any other format. In Four Horsemen, it actually pulls its weight. Okay, Chris gets a turn 5 swamp number 2. And we've got more folks joining in the whereby here. We've got a whole audience. Look at this crew. We got a whole bunch of people watching here. Meanwhile, Alex is barreling in on another attack. He's operating on 2 lands, just 1 desert and 1 forest. Pretty amazing. He was able to get that Dervish in play and get an attack through. So the Dervish is 2/2 now. Okay, so with the elf, Chris is blocking with his elf. And the Dervish, meanwhile, damages Chris, doing 2 points. And the Dragonfly damages him, bringing that Dervish to 3/3. Oh, and look at this. Maze of Ith again. Wow, that is tough for Chris. What a fast, lightning, out of the gate attack Alex has been able to mount here. Chris really on a tough mana base. He's been grinding it out with that 1 City of Brass damaging him and the elf damaging him. He needs his Urnum Djinn really desperately here to be able to block that Dervish before it gets too big. I mean, it's hitting in heavy. Looks like Chris is throwing in the towel. He's already at 8 and sees no way out. So, wow, what of a turn of events for match number 2. Alex just completely crushing Chris on that game. It really all came down to Chris's mulligan and then clearly a bad second hand. This happens all the time to all of us in Magic. It's very frustrating. It's very annoying. But that is going to take us to game number 3, which we always like to see. Game 2, Chris's Golgari sacrifice went down in smoke. And talk about smoking hot. Alex's monograde Stompy just crushing through with all the weenies operating on just, 1 Pendlehaven, a forest, and in a desert as his lands. Once that Maze of Ith came down, Chris felt like it was all over and wanted to just move on to game 3. Not sure exactly what Alex is sideboarding in and out here, but I know it's tempting on those Suchis. I think I saw a Suchi in his hand. I would strongly recommend pulling those Suchis out and opting for some other options here. He needs faster stuff. The Suchis take a while. There is a crumble in there. There's 3 crumbles. Those could be useful early game for a factory to get rid of, Mistress Factory, or to take out one of those brass men. Even though he's got the Scavenger Folk, I definitely think swapping Suchi for the Dervish is right. But he's got the Suchi in, so he must have swapped something else out for them. This Tawnos Wand can definitely come out and put in either another Scavenger Folk or a crumble. For Chris needs more aggression. The Ashes to Ashes gotta go in, I think. And the Greed probably has to come out because it's slow and it's going to do damage. And he needs more creatures. So I'd try to find a way to get these Ornithopters in. It doesn't have a ton of options, but the Greed can come out and an Ornithopter could come in, or possibly an Ashes to Ashes, or an Inquisition, an Imprison. Another card that could be useful is he does have the 2 deserts in his sideboard, so maybe the Greed comes out, the Ashes to Ashes go in, these City of Brass are not what you want to see early, and he ended up getting those. He may think about taking out one Angel, or maybe even one Jusum, and going for... Yeah, so maybe the Greed and the Jusum come out, and the 2 Ashes to Ashes go in. One of the Cobble Ghouls comes out, and the Desert goes in. Maybe another Cobble Ghoul, and one of those imprisons. But let's see what the guys are doing. They're shuffling up here. Let's switch back over. Okay, it's game number 3. We always love to see game number 3. And the guys are throwing down here. We got spectators watching live, and this top 8 match is popping. All right, Chris is on the play. Yeah, he did pop in the Ornithopters. I was thinking he might need to do that. Early defense, they can block the Whirling Dervish. They can be sacrificed later. I like to see those coming in. Good swap out for Chris. Okay, now Alex is off to a really slow turn here. Just a forest, no creature. That is very, very, very slow for Alex's deck. Second turn Sylvan Library for Chris, very strong. Second turn Dervish for Alex. Now, this Ornithopter is really going to shine here because it's going to hold this. It's going to hold this Dervish at bay until Alex can get a Pendlehaven. Okay, so Chris is looking at his 3 cards. He's probably trying to decide if he wants to draw some extras here. If he sees a Dark Heart of the Wood in there and knows he's going to have extra life later, he might take 2 cards here, but nope, plays it safe, just takes 1. And that is a Proxy Bayou there, getting in the Gasban Ogre. Now that is interesting. That Gasban... Oh, and a Maze of Vith for Chris as well. That is also super functional. Although it's slowing him down on the mana ramp, he's got some defense, he's got Sylvan Library, so not too worried. Alex had a very slow start. Normally Alex would have 2 or 3 creatures by now. Just the lowly Dervish all alone down there. Alex only has the 1 strip mine. You know, he's got those Desert Twisters in his sideboard. Don't know if he sideboarded them in. They're quite expensive, but you can power them out early when you got Elves of Deep Shadow. Daniel joining us here. The crowd grows. Okay, Chris on the Sylvan Library draw. Getting it in early, getting that Sylvan early on in the game on turn 2 like that. That really does help. You get to dig, you can possibly draw an extra card here and there. You know, Chris's deck gains life, and that's what it wants to do long term. But you gotta have that Dark Heart to make it happen, and it's restricted, so it's being cautious here. Okay, coming straight in with the Gasban Ogre, getting in for 2 right off the bat. Okay, Chris coming into his Diamond Valley. This is looking a lot like Alex's game 1. And interestingly here, Chris is able to get his Brass Man down. That is a fantastic blocker. A 1/3 for 1 mana. Chris wringing his hands there. Yes, I got my blocker in. So the Dervish The Dervish can be made a 2/2 by those Wailuli Wolf, but now he's got a 1/3 blocker and a Mazavith, so he's looking really good. Wow, Alex is able to get his Sylvan library here. Pretty fortunate for both of these guys to get these Sylvans early. Okay, so it's a bit of a stalemate right now. Both have Diamond Valley, and Chris has Mazavith. Yeah, this defense has really helped Chris out. That Ornithopter saving him that one block prevented the Dervish from becoming a 2/2, and then the Mazavith slowing down Alex even more, but he's already off to a really slow start. Okay, so Alex blocks the attacking Gazban with the Dervish.
I don't know. Okay, 18. So they're gonna trade. Okay, second main now. Tap for 2, and I'll play Kumbad Witches.
Nice.
And then I'll
Kumbaj Witches coming in for Chris. This is such a powerhouse card. He has the Bayou and the Swamp to make it happen. And that is also another 1/3, similar to the Brassman, only they can deal with damage. So, and Alex gets the Pendlehaven. That can save creatures from the Kumbaj Witches damage. So, Alex hanging in there. It would be really nice to see the Dervish still in play, but Alex elected to block and pump with the Wolves to take out the Dervish, the Gazban Ogre, and lose his Dervish. He knows he's got more Dervish, can get him in later. Meanwhile, turn 3, the Spitting Slug's coming down. Chris's app, his life counter app is really having trouble. I think I would switch to dice. That app is being very finicky. I know John was telling me he didn't like the new app changes they made 6-7 months back. Okay, so Spitting Slug's going to be a great offense and defense, but it can't kill the 1/3s alone. It can kill them with the Wailuli Wolf pumping. So the Wailuli Wolf is coming in for 2. Boy, Chris, you really need to just switch to dice, my friend. Your app is being a PITA. All right. So Chris just takes it. No Mazavith. Surprised to see that. I guess he wants to use it on one of his other potential creatures that are untapped. Okay, so passes turn, but meanwhile, Dark Heart of the Wood comes down. This is Chris's life-gaining engine card. It's a restricted card in Four Horsemen because it makes people gain tons of life and causes games to last forever. And we're trying to make these games as fun as possible, so that Dark Heart of the Wood is going to change things in Chris's favor, particularly over the long term of this game. This is why Alex really needed those Desert Twisters. You know, we didn't get a ton of time to talk about sideboarding, but Desert Twister is an absolute must if he's going to be able to take out things like Dark Heart of the Wood. It's also good against, Maze of Ith and Diamond Valley and Sylvan Library. All these powerful restricted cards. And with the Elves of Deep Shadow, you could theoretically play a turn 3. You could theoretically play a turn 4 Desert Twister. Maybe a turn 3 if you had Felwar Stones and Elves. Okay, Alex passing turn. Chris is looking like he's in command and control of this game. What Alex needs here is flyers. He needs his dragonflies and he needs his killer bees. We haven't seen killer bees show up at all in any of these games so far, and those things can be powerful, but he's going to need a way to get around Chris's Maze of Ith. I'm hoping Alex sideboarded his Desert Twisters in to deal with them. Man, we're an hour and 20 minutes into this game. When you're playing it at 1x, these matches are a lot slower. Usually on our co-commentary with either me or John or me or Tim, we're able to play these at 1.5, and it really helps expedite the length of the match. Imprison coming down for Chris on... Let's see, who is he going to use it on?
Can you put a marker or something on the Wailulu Wolf so we remember?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about if I sacrifice him right away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That resolves.
Okay.
All right, so Imprison coming down on the Wailulu Wolf. That can deactivate his activation. So he's going to attack with the wolf, and Chris pays 1 to prevent it. And he's going to use the Pendle Haven. What's going on here?
I keep having to relearn the same lesson.
All right. Upkeep, draw, trigger to Sylvan.
Yeah.
One point damage.
Hit 17.
Another spinning slot.
Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. Untap. Upkeep. Nothing in upkeep. Go to draw. Oh man. I'll just take 1. And I'll go ahead and I'm gonna want to do anything else. Think here. Just a second, I'm still thinking.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna go ahead and oubliette one of the spinning slugs.
In response, I'm going to sacrifice him.
Yep.
And in response, I'm not gonna attempt to boost the one that I'm sacrificing.
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Right.
Fine.
So I gain 5.
Game 5. 5. Should be at 22, is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Alright, I will pass to you with 1 card in hand. Oh yeah, you're right. My mistake. Imprison falls off. I didn't pay for it. My mistake.
You didn't pay for it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're in error. It was my mistake. So you can take the counter off the Wailuli.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Oh, man. That's too late. I've already
No, I really don't mind. If you want to pay 1 for it, I don't care.
No, because you can just use it again this turn, right? If you want to, and then
Yeah.
force it to draw. So, it's all right. It was my mistake.
All right. I didn't even notice the message. I'll take 2 cards.
Great. Got you at 18.
Anything else?
Yep.
This one has going to miss, this one doesn't. So 1, 2.
Are you tapping the elf for mana? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take 1 damage off the elf, so you're going to
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
Great.
Your turn.
Okay. Untap. Nothing during upkeep. Go to draw, trigger the Sylvan. Ah, man. Okay. Yeah, just the 1. I'll oubliette the other spitting slug.
Alright, same thing. Going to sacrifice it to the Diamond Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pump for 1 more.
Okay. So you gain 5. You
Yep.
get up to 23.
Yep.
3, 4. 22, I mean. Sorry, you were at 17.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's the oubliette. I will ping the Wailuli Wolf for 1 with the Kumbaj Witches.
And the boost
No,
it.
you
All right,
still got the
guys.
pump.
I grabbed
Jesus
a
Christ. All right, take 1.
beverage, and I'm back. These guys have been very diligently navigating their turns here. It's Not been a ton of action. Chris has been able to very eloquently deal with both spitting slugs. And both these guys having Diamond Valley enables them both to gain life on any creature that dies. Alex has really ramped up his mana, but doesn't have much to use it on. The Elves of Deep Shadow could really help if he could power out a Desert Twister. He could take out that Maze of Ith and maybe that Dark Heart. What would you take out, even if you had a couple of Desert Twisters? He's still doesn't have quite enough mana to power one of those out, but those two elves will help. What he really needs is he needs more flyers. You know, I don't think he's playing the fire sprites because they are just 1/1s with no special ability, but they do fly. You could argue that those are superior to maybe even the Gasman Ogres, because they can do the same amount of damage when you have a Pendlehaven with no drawback and they fly. So kind of would like to see the fire sprites instead of those Gasmans, but the Gasmans can really hit heavy if they come out on turn 1. Okay, Alex hitting in with no. Okay, he's coming down with the sushi. 2 green, 2 black, leaving the Pendlehaven up and taking a couple damage from those Elves of Deep Shadow. I'm surprised that Chris hasn't been picking those off with his Kumbaj Witches.
I'll take 1 card. I'll play Ashes to Ashes, destroying the Wailuli Wolf and the Emerald Dragonfly.
Oh, wow. So Ashes to Ashes coming in. I figured Chris would sideboard that in.
If I destroy one of the target in response to the spell, it's still legal, right?
It is.
Okay. So you're targeting both here?
Yes, I am. True.
Gonna pump the wolf for itself and sacrifice it to gain 2.
So you gain 1, 2. Get you at 18.
And they are removed by. That doesn't change anything, but they are removed, right?
They are exiled. Yeah, that's right. And I'm at 9.
So Chris playing 5 life there. Ashes to Ashes.
Okay. That's all
those
I'll do
2
with my
creatures,
turn.
the
I'll pass
Wailuli
one
Wolf,
card in hand.
and I think it was the Scavenger Folk.
Still then?
That gets rid of 2 of Alex's attackers.
2.
He can't target the Suchi,
Sorry?
but he has the Maze of Ith to handle that Suchi. That Maze of Ith is really making the difference in game 1 and game 3 here.
One burn.
Give me just a second. I just got pinged from work. Just 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
Swing for 4.
Amazing.
Right. Second lane. 1, 2, 34. Take 2. Down to 16.
Get you at 16.
Earn them.
Yeah.
Pass turn.
Okay.
Okay, so Alex is able to get in for
Draw. Trigger the Sylvan.
a couple points of damage with his
So much land.
Scavenger Folk again, taking
An
2
amazing
more,
amount of land.
but he's able to play an Urnham. Urnham and Suchi coming in This will be interesting. Chris will really start to have to ramp up his defense here. He
Have
needs...
Dark Heart of the Wood, so
Yeah, it's just not something to attack with. So
yeah, that's a defensive strategy.
kind of what exactly is going on here? All right, I'll just take the 1. Tap a green. I'll play an Elves of Deep Shadow.
Yep.
And then I'll pass 1 card in hand.
Yeah, Elves of Deep Shadow, not what Chris wants to see here. He's gotten a ton of land this game. Later, he was really hurting earlier, but he has stabilized now. He's got triple black and he's got a forest, so he's got everything he needs except for his big creatures. He needs Urnums, he needs Jusums, and he needs his Fallen Angel. The Fallen Angel is what makes Chris's deck so formidable. Alex now patiently navigating, losing a few creatures, gaining a few life with Diamond Valley, taking a few damage with the elves, getting out a Suchi and now an Urnum, able to attack with both. If I were Chris here, I think I would try some multi-blocking, although it might really hurt his offense. You know, if he blocked with the Brass Man, the Ornithopter, the Witches, and the Elves, the Suchi can only deal 4 damage, so he would have to kill... Well, he wouldn't kill the Suchi, though, but he could kill the Suchi, because the Witches can tap and deal an extra damage after blocking, so he could deal 4 damage to the Suchi. He had a chance to take it out, that Suchi, but it would have probably cost him his Witches. Meanwhile, he patiently waits and is able to move on to the next turn, taking his time and putting a Scavenger Folk into play. This is another reason why I was thinking with Alex's deck brew and build, and with what Chris has, you know, he's got Scavenger Folk too. The Suchi become a real liability, and I'd like to see those come out and see Desert Twisters and those Dervish coming in. Alex has a different plan, and he certainly won game 2, hands down. Completely smoked Chris in game 2, but this game 3 is a total battle. These guys are playing some high-level Magic chess here as we get into the original Four Horsemen Symphony 1, the Four Horsemen Conquest song. Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, Movement 1 Conquest. Such a cool song. All right, any predictions for who is going to take down this match at this point? These guys have been battling it out for 1 hour and 40 minutes. This is a real chess match. Dervish coming down for Alex, and that protection from black could come in handy later. All right, so back on Alex. 3 mana. Haha, we finally see the Killer Bees. These guys, all of us as kids played Killer Bees. Fantastic art, just so reminiscent. Legends, 0/1 flyer does nothing when it comes into play, but if you've got forests and they can't get rid of it, this bad boy is a heavy hitter in the air. However, for Alex to get in with damage, he's got to deal with this Maze of Ith, so I'm hoping he did put in those Desert Twisters. Ooh, Ashes to Ashes number 2. Ouch. There's only 2 of those in Chris's sideboard. He got both of them early. It's going to cost him 5 life. So he's able to get rid of the Urnum, and I would assume the bees. Yeah. So those are exiled. Well, one of them is. Alex responds by diamond valuing his own Urnum. So he'll gain 5 life from that, putting him back at 20. And we see Alex is just, cranking away. Meanwhile, the scavenger folk bomb and blow up the Suchi. You pay green, sacrifice those guys from the dark, and take out any artifact. Fantastic green weenie creature. Critical part of Alex's Stompy deck, but also a part of Chris's deck. And that's going to cost Alex 4 life and mana burn because he's got nothing to pump that mana into. This is where you want to see Stormseeker. Suchi Stormseeker is a thing in Four Horsemen. You lose that Suchi, you pay a green, and boom, you can dump 3 of that 4 mana right in and deal damage to your opponent. If you get it early, it can really take its toll. But that Suchi straight to the graveyard, burning Alex for 4 on the mana burn. But Alex is still pretty much in command and control of this game. He's going to be able to get in for damage eventually. If only he could find a way to deal with that maze of it. He needs a strip mine. He needs a desert twister. Emerald Dragonfly coming down. That could help, but the Kumbaj Witches down there and the Brassman are just a fantastic defense against Alex's green Stompy offense. Boy, this is tense. Alex playing an Argothian Pixie as well. 5 attackers, and those Ashes to Ashes are gone. Now Chris is able to deal with damage per turn with these witches. And hopefully Alex is remembering it to do the damage back to Chris. Yeah, he's taking that damage. Yeah, taking a damage. And Alex is gaining 1 life from losing the Argothian Pixies. He's diamond valuing them in response to the Kumbaj Witches pinging them, trying to take them out. Witches are so strong that, 2 black for a 1/3 blocker that can deal with damage. Like, it's just a great card, and it hardly sees any play. I mean, never sees play in any other format. But in Four Horsemen, Kumbaj Witches bring the spice. Those were reprinted, I think, in 4th edition, and we all played them as kids. And the art is, Foglio art. It's really interesting, weird, cool stuff that we all remember from the sidewalk days of Magic. And here in Four Horsemen, those Kumbaj Witches are powerful. Okay, now Alex hits his 5th land for mana. So he's got 7 mana now. Are we going to see some Desert Twisters? Alex, did you sideboard in the Twisters? Please say yes. Okay, a big land tap. 4, 5. Are we going to see the Desert Twister? Yes. Yes, Alex. Alex, bring in the Desert Twister. Taking a damage. We know. There it is. Boom. Another card. We all played as kids. We all played the Desert Twister. Reprinted and revised from Arabian Nights. This is what Alex has been waiting for this whole game. Taken down that Maze of Ith. And now Alex is able to get through for some damage. Just 1 in the air. Will he pump it with the Pendlehaven? Probably not. He wants to protect his guys. He's playing very patiently. He's got Chris on the back heel. Chris has had a very slow start to this game. Only hanging around with his Maze of Ith. A lot of land he didn't need. He's had a bunch of small creatures. He only just now got his Urnum out. Will Chris be able to make a comeback here? He needs Fallen Angel. I think it's time to draw a card and sack some land, possibly. But the problem is he's lost his elves that were damaging him early. He does get a desert. But desert is not going to do it when you have Pendlehaven. When you're staring across the table from Pendlehaven, Desert is... You need triple Desert to defeat Pendlehaven. It's tough. Chris is in a really tough spot here. He's just gonna come in with Urnham. Yeah, he's gotta get in there. But you know, Alex is like, all right, I'll block with an elf, I'll Pendlehaven it, and I'll Diamond Valley, and I'll gain 3 life. I mean, this Diamond Valley is doing the work. You know, hats off to Alex for, you know, very strategically including this in his brew. Okay, in prison, coming down. Oh, what a game changer that could be. That Emerald Dragonfly can just now be neutralized. Wow, that is potentially a game changer for Chris. He may be able to stabilize here. He does have a forest and a bayou, so he's got potentially 6 additional life, but he's gonna need some bigger creatures. Alex looking with his own Sylvan Library. All right, let's listen in and see what the guys are talking about. The original Four Horsemen music from the early days. The Caravan. All right, what's Chris gonna do here? He's in a real pickle. He's been able to somewhat stabilize, but he's very low on life.
Another imprison?
Yeah.
I will imprison the Spitting Slug.
Imprisons the Spitting Slug.
Okay, in response, I'm going to sack it.
Yeah. In 4. Get you at 19.
Diamond Valley, doing the work.
Then... Then I'll go ahead and go to combat with the Urnham.
No block.
Take the 4 then. Got you at 15. And pass. No cards in hand.
My turn?
Yes, your turn.
Morning.
Yeah, I'll imprison the
Yeah,
dragonfly.
dragonfly. This one too. You can double block. Hitting him. Okay, I won't do anything else. Second main. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn him.
Nice.
Your turn.
Okay. Dragonfly keeps 4 sword.
Yep.
That's it. Go to draw. Trigger the Sylvan. I'll just take 1. I'll play another brass man. And I think I have to pass with no cards in hand.
Forest walk to Brassman. Take 2 cards.
Great. Catch it 11.
Spinning stars.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nourish.
Great. Now all I need is a Wrath of God.
Yep. That's all you need. Or multiple desert.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay. Untap. Force walk stays with the Emerald Dragonfly.
Yep.
Draw, trigger the Sylvan. Oh. Kind of ironic to draw that card so late. Alright, there's that. I'll pay a green and I'll play a Scavenger Folk. And I'll pass. No cards in hand.
Tap force walk to the just do the Brassman again.
Okay.
Trigger Sylvan. One card.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to combat with the Emerald Dragonfly.
Yeah, I'll pay to imprison him.
Nothing else I can do, so I'm gonna pass turn.
Okay. Emerald Dragonfly keeps Force Walk. Draw, trigger the Sylvan. Oh man. It's not great draws. Okay, nothing has changed. Pass to you. 1 card in hand.
Force Walk to the Brassman.
Yep.
Target and Pixies. Wolf.
Okay. Very good.
Your turn.
Oh man. Okay, I'll go ahead and take my turn. Force Walk stays on the Dragonfly.
Yep.
Draw. I'll just take 1. I'll play a land, which is a swamp. And pass 1 card in hand.
Brassman. Force Walk again.
Oh no. That's the one that does it. If I don't have an answer for flying, that's pretty much it.
Well, you have Imprison and Ashes to Ashes.
And I've got Dark Hearts. I can keep myself alive for a little while. But
Yeah.
we'll see what we got.
Your turn.
Okay, Diamond Valley's Fourth Box stays on the
Yep.
Emerald Dragonfly. Just drawing land and land and land, but it's a good land. Pendlehaven.
It is.
Pass, I think. Yeah, pass.
Tap. Force Walk to the Brassman again.
Yep.
I'll come at you with my 2 flyers.
Yeah, so I'll imprison the Emerald Dragonfly. So it'll tap. The Emerald Dragonfly is trapped.
Yep.
Tapped. And then I have no blocks for the Killer Bees.
Five.
5 damage. Okay. I will.
Well, this looks like it's curtains for Chris. This has been quite the match. The Killer Bees finally coming down. Look at this green army that Alex has built, all held at bay by Chris's Brassman, Urnums, Imprisons, and his Kumbaj Witches. He's able to survive by Diamond Valleying and gaining 3 life with the Scavenger Folk, letting him survive another turn. But it looks bad for Chris. His Maze of Ith destroyed by that very pivotal Desert Twister that Alex smartly sideboarded in. That card single-handedly has swung this game to get rid of the Maze of Ith and given Alex the advantage to get in there with his killer bees. He's got up to 6 green mana in the air to pump those bees. Those bees can be a 6/7, and with no way to disable them, those killer bees are indeed going to be killer and take down Chris next turn. He may be able to survive by Diamond Valleying here and there, but if okay, so Alex Diamond Valley's the Gasman Ogre, gains 2 life. It's been a battle, you know. It's been a real challenging game for both players. A lot of patience required, and these guys have put in that extra persistence and patience to play carefully, to play strategically, to think through their moves, and think through combat. There's so many actions and interactions and reactions in Four Horsemen combat, particularly in these scenarios when you've got, you know, Wailuli Wolves pumping things, Diamond Valleys, Pendle Havens, Deserts, Desert Twister number 2 coming down. Targeting, what's he targeting here?
And how much mana do you have open afterwards? Just the 1?
2 mana.
2 force. Okay, so you can deal 2 damage with that. Yeah, okay. Diamond Valley. Nice.
I'll go to combat with my 2 flyers.
Yep. Imprison the Emerald Dragonfly.
Okay.
And I have no response to the...
Just 1.
Just 1. So
Yep.
Just 1 damage.
Yep.
Okay. Just take the 1. Should be a 2.
Last turn.
All right. I will. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
mine now.
That was my mistake. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, mate. I'm getting tired. So all right. Force Spark stays where it is. Yeah, I'll concede. That's enough. That's enough for today.
You're sure? All right.
Yeah, that's more than enough magic for today. So.
Victory by fatigue.
Yeah, definitely victory by fatigue. Also by deadline. Like I have a little.
Yeah. Sorry for that.
There's the fucking fallen angel. Jesus Christ! Finally. Sorry for my language, but.
You're entitled to some language after that, Chris. Alex, I was over here cheering you on. I was like, did Alex sideboard in his Desert Twisters? And it was really cool to see that you did put those in there.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
the Maze of Ith getting Desert Twistered was the turning point in that game, and it was really cool to see that you sideboarded those in, and
That was a really great choice.
yeah, really great choice. There were so many things in Chris's deck that were going to give your deck a problem, including Diamond Valley, Dark Heart of the Wood, Maze of Ith, and even the Fallen Angel. You know, being able to Desert Twister Fallen Angel and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Really, you know, a lot of people bash on that card, but it takes out any permanence, so it's pretty good.
Wow, that was really, really, really awesome. Epic games, Chris.
Yeah, that was quite the battle,
Very,
guys.
very well played.
This was 2 hours in video time, so I'm not sure how many viewers are going to stick the whole way through, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see.
Sorry about all the misplays and everything, guys. Just I'm starting to get tired. 2 hours. It's 2 hours of your brain going, 100% speed, and you're like starting to get worn out.
Well, it was also, let's be honest, it's been a long, long time since we've seen a game won by Killer Bees. So that was pretty cool to see as well.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I made some good choices in the sideboarding here, but Whirling Dervishes obviously are the thing that it was Killer Bees and Whirling Dervish was the things I was most concerned about.
Right.
And so pulled out anything. Obviously, I love Juzam. It's a fantastic card, but all you need is a Whirling Dervish to block it, and it just sits there and does nothing.
Right.
Kabagul, kind of the same. Great, lots of great play, lots of fun with the counters and all that stuff, but yeah, again, if you've got one Whirling Dervish, it does nothing. So my whole plan, pretty much the only out that I had to get through was Fallen Angels.
Yeah.
I was like, I just have to get up in the air. I have to get Fallen Angels, and I have to start sacrificing everything to the Fallen Angels.
Don't you have 4 angels, though?
I do. Yeah, I didn't draw any.
Yeah, you didn't draw any angels that whole game.
I was really expecting them sooner than later.
I drew them, all of them in game 1. I guess that was it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get any of them. That was the plan. Those were the changes I made. This is more blocker, more sacrifice stuff. This was try to stop the Killer Bees, if possible. This is if he gets too far ahead, try to even up, and this was to try to stop the Whirling Dervishes.
Wow.
Yeah, the desert were really efficient.
Yeah, desert's pretty strong, especially once you get 2 or 3 in play late game.
Yeah, and also the combat witches were a pain in the. I won't say anything else.
Oh yes, you can say it, Alex. The Kumbash witches are showing. They are like the rock stars of black, weenie creatures.
Really are.
They are such great defenders. They block Mishra's factories. They block all the small creatures, and they ping.
Really good.
They ping, like a sorcerer, prodigal sorcerer with the damage coming back, which is perfectly fair. And
I had to keep my Dandelion and my Wolf untapped at all times.
Right.
You could have taken my 1/1 at the end of my turn and then take the same one at the end of your turn. And you had so many ways to gain life that the drawback wasn't really a drawback for you.
Right.
That prevented me to use a lot of cards down those creatures.
So, Chris, I was wondering, why didn't you decide to run Underworld Dreams? Because you've got the black mana, and in these long games, Underworld just wins.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Chad. I haven't had a lot of really long games. I think it's partially just this matchup. Generally, this deck is relatively aggressive, and so the aggro tends to get out there pretty quickly.
Right.
The Rathban Ogres and the Juzams and all that. If you're not prepared for it, or you don't have something like a Whirling Dervish to just sort of blanket, you get run over pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience up until this point. So I haven't had a lot of slow games. This has been by far the slowest games that we've had.
Yeah.
Well, game two wasn't that slow.
No, game 2 was great. Yeah, I mean, good draw for you, really terrible draw for me.
Yeah.
And that's why we play Magic and not chess, is because we kind of like that uncertainty that comes with it. So.
Well, thanks for playing, Chris. You made it to another top 8 battle. Great deck, really cool brew. Alex, congrats, man. You're moving on to the semifinals. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's exciting. My first ever tournament, and I'm already at top 4. That's incredible.
Yeah,
really
you got a great deck. It's you battled it out through group matches, top 16. This is a pretty heavy hitting deck. I know you thought. We were chatting in the background before you started the game. You thought your chances were slim, but you did extremely well. I think you played very patiently, very thoughtfully. I think you made a lot of very hard, good decisions. And, you got a little lucky here and there. You got a little unlucky in other places. It was a great match. And congrats on making the semifinals.
Thank you, guys. So, Chris, we'll let you run to work before you get fired.
Yeah, thanks. Great.
All right, Chris. We'll see you in tournament 21, Chris.
Okay, that sounds like a blast.
I hope you got a Wild Wild West brew because it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast, I'm sure. Awesome.
All right, guys.
Alex,
thanks so much.
Thanks.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right, so we are going to wrap up this long video. Chris Holzenbach's Golgari Sacrifice versus Alexandre Viel's Old School Alex Mono Green Stompy emerging victorious and taking down the Golgari Sacrifice. Chris makes it to another quarterfinals, but not to the top semifinals brackets. Congrats, Chris. I know you've worked really hard on these brews. And congrats to Alex, who will be proceeding. And with that, we will wrap it up. But before we do, we hope that you will join us for Four Horsemen Tournament number 21. This tournament is running May 16th through June 22nd. And you can check it out at fourhorsemanmagic.com/tournament21. We are returning to the Wild Wild West original banned and restricted list for Four Horsemen. This is a unique banned and restricted that goes all the way back to when we first started in June of 2022 with this format. Library of Alexandria, City in a Bottle, and Arena of the Ancients are and Golgothian Silex are the only restricted cards. Everything else is unrestricted. Nazavith, unrestricted. Library is restricted, but Strip Mine is not. Mishra's Factory, Mishra's Workshop, Diamond Valley, Island of Whack Whack, Ivory Tower, Dark Heart of the Wood, all unrestricted. Greed, unrestricted. Sylvan Library, unrestricted. All the powerful cards that have over time emerged as really, really format shaping and in warping. Those cards are all unrestricted, and only the anti-cards and Shahrazad are going to be banned in this tournament. We'll see a ton of workshop decks. We're going to see Ivory Tower decks. We're going to see life-gaining Dark Heart of the Wood. We're going to see Arborea. Abyss is unrestricted. Moat will be everywhere. You know, when you're facing down Moats and Arboreas and Abyss and Ivory Tower and Sylvan Library, Land Tax, Dark Heart of the Wood, all these cards, plus all the utility lands. I think Blood Moon is going to be a powerhouse in this tournament to shut down all these utility lands. And, you know, it's going to be really, really, really interesting to go back to the Wild Wild West. This is a spice event for Four Horsemen Tournament 21. And we're going to be allowing dual lands along with the basic lands and that ban and restricted. Check us out at fourhorsemanmagic.com and join us for Tournament 21. With that, we're signing off for this Tournament 20 Top 8 quarterfinals matches. And we'll see you next time.